Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Sivga SV023, and these are my honest audiophile impressions. I want to thank Sivga Audio for providing the SV023 for review. Do greatly appreciate it. Sivga Audio, you rock. Alright, so the Sivga SV023, this will set you back $500, and it has a 50mm LCP diaphragm beryllium plated dynamic driver on each side, a frequency response of 20 Hz to 40 kHz, impedance of 300 ohms, sensitivity of 105 decibels, and it weighs 318 grams. Comes in this very nice box. On the back side, it does say that it is created with craftsman spirit. You get this nice carrying bag that says Sivga on it. Get this very nice carrying case with a strap and very quality zipper. Nice build. Fits the headphones perfectly. It says Sivga up there. Then you get a couple cables. You get an adapter cable, 4.4mm to 3.5, and then you get a 1/4 inch adapter. And you get this very nice matching cable, 2.5mm inputs to the headphone, and then it terminates into 4.4. Very well built cable. I really enjoy this. Nice and light, very high quality feel to it. Nice braid, exceptionally built, like the 6N OCC cable that is provided by Sivga. And then you get the headphone. You get the Sivga SV023, nice metal headband, and you get metal ear hooks, wood cups, a ring that's made of metal, and then a grate made of metal. Nice hybrid pads, which are kind of strange looking, but extremely comfortable, very well made, high quality. They're fenestrated. Markings on the inside for L and R to tell you which one's left and right, and L and R on the little part that comes down going to the yokes. Headband is leather, has nice padding on it. You got these sliders which are plastic, which I wish were a little bit tighter. They're a little loose, but other than that, everything about the SV023s feels high quality, well built, very well designed. Putting them on your head, they just disappear. Being 318 grams, they're extremely light. They're not mega huge, but people will notice that you have headphones on when you have them on. And then also you will be able to wear them from hours on end because they're extremely light. I have no problems with the clamp force. It is nice and just tight enough, but not loose to they're falling off, or tight that they're making my blood vessels feel like they're going to burst in my head. Ear cups are big enough for my ears to fit in, but aren't massively huge and aren't so small that my ears are touching them. Overall, I like the design of the SV023, and I find that the SV023 is nice to look at and well built and comfortable. The Sivga SV023 is 300 ohms, 105 decibels, and I found that it does take some oomph to power them and to make them sound good. Tried them off of dongles. It was all right. Even a balanced dongle like the Hifi FC4, it was kind of all right. The Venture Electronics Megatron, it was all right. It wasn't fabulous. Going to desktop, it got a lot better of a experience, and using the Audeze X1S GT, it sounded fabulous and powered it very well. Going up to the Mytek Liberty DAC 2, it sounded very good and was powered very easily. And I found that going out to other amplifiers from the Mytek Liberty DAC, going to the Headamp GSX Mini or to the Drop THX1 Linear. Also had very positive experiences. And then going to the Tour Audio Roger Tube Amp also had a very positive experience. Using the Aueze Deckard was also very pleasant. So I found that the Sivga SV023 was best off of desktop. It is not really for portable use. Before we get into the sound, I do want to thank the supporters of the channel through YouTube memberships and Patreon. Do greatly appreciate everything that you provide to the channel through your love and support, and it just enhances the experience for others. So I do greatly appreciate it, and also it just continues the channel going forward, because without your support, I wouldn't be able to purchase gear to review or to compare or to use as a reference. So thank you very much for all that you do, my YouTube members and patrons. If you are interested in becoming a YouTube member or patron, please check out the links down below. Also, while you're down there, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Also, if you haven't already, give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video if you're enjoying it or not. SV023s, how do they sound? The bass of the SV023 is pleasing. It has a nice tonality to it, and it has good detail retrieval and resolution. It is a little bit light on impact, and it is a little rolled off into sub bass. You do not get a lot of rumble and grumble, and it is a little lacking in texture. But overall, it does give you what you're looking for in the music, and it has enough to keep the toes tapping. I just wish it had a little bit more body, a little bit more note weight, and a little more impact and texture. But overall, the bass does what it's supposed to do, and it does it sounding proper. Mids. I like the mids of the SV023. They have a very nice tonality to them. They have good timbre about it. Instruments and vocalists sound very pleasant, and they sound natural. And there's good space and separation between instruments and vocalists. And there's a nice detail and retrieval and a resolution of those details. And overall, the mids are very pleasing, and they are kind of the focal point of the SV023. The upper mids are a little more elevated, so the mids have a little bit of unbalance, but it's not super annoying. Things don't sound odd, like instruments don't sound uneven. It's just a little bit more noticeable that some instruments and vocalists that reside a little higher up in the higher registers will be a little bit more forward and a little more prominent than others. The treble. The treble has good tonality to it. The treble has good detail retrieval and resolution, and the treble has a airiness to it, and it's a very open sound. But unfortunately, it's a little too elevated, and it sounds a little boosted and artificial. And at times, it can be a little bit on the harsher side and a little bit on the hot side. And I found that the treble was fatiguing. Lower mids were that way at times, but treble was that way most of the time. And so it was a little bit on the fatiguing side for me. And I found that in order to tame that, the Audiophile X1S GT and the Tour Audio Roger Tube Amp did the trick. They mellowed that out just enough that they were more tolerable, but they still had those moments. And I never could get fully away from the treble being too much for me. It just was a little bit too intense. Overall, I found that the bass, mids, and treble were pleasing and pleasant for the most part, except for the treble flaws. And I found that the Sivga SV023 is to be the best sounding Sivga that I've heard. Soundstage on these is fantastic. It has a nice wide approach to things, and it does a good job of staying in a natural setting. It doesn't stretch things too far. It does a good job of portraying it accurately. Also, it does a good job with depth and layering, and things, you could look into a stage and things did not get confused and piled upon each other and jumbled. It did a good job of keeping it separated and layered. Imaging is very good. It does a nice job of traveling things across. It's more of it's in the neighborhood than being it's specifically right there, but it does a good job with imaging. And overall, I found that the Soundstage was good. Detail retrieval of the Sivga SV023s is very good. It has a good amount of detail, and it does a good job with resolution. Up top in the upper mids and lower treble, it does get a little bit more smeary and a little more glary and a little harsh at times. But overall, the resolution is good, especially for the price point. Tone and timbre. I found that the tone is good. The timbre is a little bit off. To me, the note weight and density throughout, the bass, the mids, and the treble is light, and that throws off the naturalism. It's not off-putting, but at the same time, it just doesn't have the full potential of being natural. Playing it on a warmer source, something like the Tor Audio Roger or the Aueze X1S or the Aueze Deckard, brought in a little bit more body to things, but it still was lighter than what it should be. And I found that overall, it sounds good, but it's not 100% natural. How does the Sivga SV023s compare to the headphones that I have back here? I have the Sennheiser HD660s. I found that the Sennheiser HD660s has better tone and timbre. It is more natural and accurate, and it has better note weight and density, and things sounded more alive. Also found that the imaging is more specific on the 660s. It's more direct and pinpoint, whereas on the SV023 it's in the neighborhood. I did find that the Sennheisers also had a little bit more bass impact and were a little bit more full and just a little bit more engaging in the bass. And also the treble of the Sennheisers is more controlled, and it is not as aggressive, and it was just more pleasant and pleasing to listen to. The Audio-Technica R70x. The R70x has better tone and timbre, more accurate and true, has a bigger soundstage, and is deeper and better at layering and more pinpoint in its imaging. Also found that the R70x had more bass impact, even though it is more upper bass and mid bass focused than sub bass, but I did find that the R70x was more girthy and authoritative. Also found that the treble is better controlled and is not as elevated and boosted and artificial in that area like the SV023 is. And then also the R70x has better detail retrieval and resolution. Overall, the Sivga SV023s, $500. It's a little steep, but I do like them, and I find them to be a good headphone. Are they my first reach at that price point? No. But I do like them. I love the build of them, the design of them, the comfort of them, the look of them, and the sound is good. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and also check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information regarding gear tier lists and gear rankings and music recommendations and how you can contact channel, follow the channel, support the channel. All that kind of stuff is down below. And don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.